Would you like to have honeybees and not spend a lot of money? Well, I have 10 years experience with honeybees, and I've learned how to keep honeybees without spending a lot of money. It's October 27th. This is the last warm day. The Arctic air is coming. The bees know that. They're out. And why are they out? Well, it's just because it's warm, but also I don't feed my bees syrup in the fall anymore. I didn't feed them last year. If I were to feed them, I would feed them Domino cane sugar, but it got too expensive. $8.36 for a 10-pound bag at Walmart. So what I do is, any frames of honey that aren't large, aren't full, they're not worth me putting in a hive. I take the large frames of honey that are full, I put them in my new colonies and the older colonies. Well, I don't put them in the old colonies. I put them in the new colonies that didn't get a chance to make honey. So the frames that aren't full, and last year I did this outside, but here in Michigan, it's on and off rain. I didn't have time to put them outside and move them in. So what I did was I just put them inside, leave the door open. And this shed here is full of bees, and they're removing the honey off the frames. And that light is still on. But these right here are the ones that have large amounts of honey, full frames, and I don't really want them in there. So I'll put a screen over it. But these right here, I'll let the bees take advantage of any amount of honey on these. So they're in taking that honey, they're taking it back to the hive, and I wait for the commercial bees to leave. The commercial bees are gone. They usually leave around mid-October, just before November. It's getting cold, so I'm sure they're not here. So I'm letting them take the honey, fill up these small hives, and I'm getting ready for the cold weather. And I can go through with a notebook. Any colony that doesn't have a lot of bees on it, I know won't make it through a 20-degree night. So I will have to bring them in. And how I bring them in, well, I already knew about this one ahead of time. I put a screen here. I will plug up these holes. There's a screen here and a shim for air. And I'll strap it and bring it inside. But there's no robbing going on right now. I know that because the bees aren't fighting. You don't see bees on the ground. They're not killing each other. These are the bees in the colony. So if you see a lot of bees, you know this colony's fine. And here I'm building stuff. Right now I'm currently building shims, because I have over 100 colonies that don't have shims. And why do I put the shim in the hive? That's where I buy Domino cane sugar during the winter. The bees use a lot less of it. When you make like sugar cubes, I make long sticks of sugar. I'll put it in the shim here. And I want them to eat the sugar versus eating the honey. So for me to feed them syrup every fall, a couple years ago, wife and I spent over $1,000 on Domino cane sugar, fed them syrup. It's when we had around 150 colonies. And half those colonies died during the winter. Why? Because they're picking up toxic chemicals from the crop farmers. My bees don't live 5 to 6 months through winter. Like if you Google it, they say most bees live 5 to 6 months through winter. Mine only live 3 to 4 months because of the toxic chemicals they bring into the hive. It's in the honey, it's in the wax, and the pollen. I keep saying this over and over again. So my bees are dying out through winter. It's not the varroa mites. I'm using acetic acid to get rid of varroa mites. I don't know how you guys can keep honeybees if you're spending $40 for a queen, spending $5 for a varroa mite treatment, and spending $20 in syrup. How much money is that? That's what, $65? And you're pulling honey off? How much money are you actually making? So you pull off 60, 70 pounds of honey, and you spend $65 to keep that colony going. And I'm not even adding up any other stuff you might add to that colony to keep them going. But it's a waste of money. I keep adding new colonies every year. I'm growing, and currently 2023 I made over 150 new colonies out of 70 colonies I had from last year. So basically every colony I had from last year made 2 colonies, and the honey, extra honey they made, goes into the new colonies. And anytime I see a colony that doesn't have a lot of bees, if they have an old queen, I'll go ahead and kill that old queen, and I combine it with another small colony, because I know from my years of experience, even when I bring them inside, that colony's going to die out before next spring. So you might as well take advantage of those bees, kill that queen if it's an old queen. Like if it was a new queen, it was created in July or whatever, and they didn't have time to get large, then I probably wouldn't kill that queen. But if that queen looks old and my notes say it's an old queen, I kill that queen and I combine that colony with another. Like these two colonies here, 133 and 184. Obviously, they're small colonies. So what I do is I would figure out which one has the oldest queen, or which queen wasn't doing very well, compare the dates of when they got mated. And if that queen got mated early summer and she doesn't have a lot of bees, she's not a good bee, I would kill that one and combine it with the other. It's just basic common sense and keeping notes. And let me show you some other bees. Oh, you see this? Here it is at the end of October. Dandelions, and the bees are right there. A lot of times as they go to the flower, and it gets cold and they don't make it back. But to me, weeds are food for bees. I'm not in, I don't mow grass, okay, basically. But all right, these colonies here, they're new 2023 colonies, like end of May when they got a laying queen. So they had time to get really large. See how large they are? And you see how I'm feeding them domino cane sugar up above, because I don't have enough shims for these colonies, but I'm gradually going to make shims as I'm going through winter. And when it's cold enough, they're clustered. And I can go ahead and pull off a medium and put a shim in there in just about, I don't know, under a minute. And the bees won't leave that cluster. This right here is, they failed the first time. The virgin queen didn't get mated, or she got lost, so they were a second round. And they're not quite as large, but still, see, they're eating the sugar. And I just got stung. If you're going to work with bees, you're going to have to accept the fact you're going to get stung. Look at that. It doesn't hurt that much. Like, to me, it kind of feels good. I don't like getting stung in the face. See, she's trying to get away. She's dead now. That's the fact that I don't like, that when they sting me, the bee's dead. So I'll just go ahead and get rid of. So most of these bees are doing okay. I put a video on saying how my colonies are dying. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but they are dying. I know, I've been doing this for 10 years. This is an older queen. I don't have very many colonies with 2 deeps. And you see, I'm blessed. That bee stung me, and it doesn't bother me. I laugh at all these people on YouTube that have these videos, and I don't watch the videos, but I see the picture of them and a bunch of, I don't know what you call those stuff that you buy to prevent bees. I just got stung again. See? Right here. They seem to think that it really bothers me, and I just feel so bad for them that it doesn't bother me that you're stinging me. You're just killing yourself. I don't wear a bee suit. I don't wear a veil. 2016, I took some bees out of a church, and I reached in with my arm to grab out the comb. I wanted to save that queen, and I got stung probably over 100 times. I did not end up in the hospital. If you are worried about getting stung, and if getting stung is going to put you in the hospital, you should not work with bees. You should let other people that aren't bothered by that work with bees. This is a colony here. The that's not going to make it. I combined next colony next door to that, but obviously the number of bees going in and out, that's definitely not going to make it. So that's why I'm saying on a warm day, walk through, see how many bees are going in and out of your hives, write down which colonies aren't doing very well, and those are the ones you want to almost out of sugar. Those are the ones you're going to have to bring in when it's cold, and that queen may not be worth saving. So go ahead, kill that queen if she's not worth saving, if she's poor quality, and combine those bees with another small colony. So hopefully you can keep your colonies large enough to get through winter. If you produce new colonies through the summer, towards the end of summer, those colonies don't have enough time to make it through winter. That doesn't mean the queen is poor quality. It just means that she didn't have enough time. It's okay, you've seen all my bees. Let me show you how to put a basement in your pole barn. Got this all done. What I'm going to do is end up stopping my construction for the year, buy a bunch of straw, put straw down at the footing, a lot of it to keep the footing from freezing during winter. And then pick up again next spring. So I didn't borrow any money. Borrowing money is, by the time you pay the interest on it, it really is not going to be a good idea. So build things as you go. You get people on YouTube that talk about buying a house and interest rates and this and that. I started with a house trailer. When I got out of the service, I put a house trailer on some. My father gave me an acre, and then I needed another half acre. Put a house trailer. Spent $7,000 on a house trailer. Borrow a little bit of money for a pole barn. If you borrow money, don't buy a lot. Borrow a lot. Built the garage. This garage is 30 years old. And then I did a basement without borrowing money. And then as I was working as an electrician apprentice, I bought all the lumber for my house and stored it in my garage. And then when I had enough lumber, I built the house and I put vinyl siding on it. I did not borrow any money to build my house, okay? And all the blocks that you see, I did. Basically, if you can do stuff yourself to save money, do it yourself. Sometimes you end up doing better than if you had paid somebody to do it for you. A 30-year mortgage, if you get a 30-year mortgage, you end up paying 4 times what you borrowed. You guys are just foolish. Young people now, they waste their money going to restaurants and buying computers and smartphones. They don't even think about the future. I'm worth $250,000 if I were to sell what I have here, okay? My home is paid for. And I'm actually increasing the value of my home without borrowing money. It's very simple, all right? Oh, and the other thing, buy a vehicle. This one's used, but if you can buy a new vehicle, take care of it. If something breaks, fix it. Spray used engine oil underneath it every fall. Keep it from rusting. See? It's a 2000, it's 2023. This truck is 24 years old. It's solid, okay? It would be in better shape if I had bought it new, but at the time when this truck was new, I was building my house. I was not investing any money in a vehicle. I've had the transmission rebuilt and had some other stuff done with the front end, but basically what I'm getting at is you guys waste so much money on replacing your vehicle every 7 years, whereas I know how to get 20 or 30 years. Well, actually, I'm going to get more than 30 years out of that truck because I'm spraying oil underneath it, and anytime anything breaks, I'm fixing it. Cars are a waste of money. You can't get underneath a car and spray oil in a unibody frame. Pickup trucks have frames. If something rusts on the body, you can replace it, but it's not going to rust if you spray oil. But what I'm getting at is a unibody doesn't have a frame. When that rusts out, it's... Whoa. it's completely junk. All right. So you guys waste money on vehicles. You waste money paying money back to the banks, and buy a good used vehicle. That dump truck there, $3,000. It hauls stuff for me to make concrete, make my own concrete. It hauls my bees. Good work truck, okay? $3,000. Look for a good buy. And again, take care of your bees. Realize that your pesticides and fungicides and herbicides, all the toxic chemicals I pick up through summer is going to kill them through winter. So when the colony gets small, you have to keep them warmer. If you leave them out in sub-zero weather, they're going to die. And it doesn't matter which hive you use, Vinyl Farm. A bee barn's not going to help, and a super insulating your hive is not going to help. And David Burns, you guys are all just selling products, okay? I don't waste money on buying a bunch of products for my hives. I build as much as I can. I've made 99% of my hives. This right here was purchased from Better Bee. This was made by me. That there came from the Dont. All right, you can see what I'm getting at. Make it yourself if you can. Don't buy queens. Don't feed them through fall. You don't need to feed them if you don't take away their honey. A lot of these people take all the honey away, and then you got to feed them. Subtract the cost of feeding them, and you're feeding them something that's not as good as the honey. All right? It doesn't make any sense to me, okay? Thank you.